Parables Podcast Collective Thursdays. My name is EJ Cruz and I am your host. This is your first time joining us. I do welcome you. Listen, everyone, the podcast, I really like to describe it as a vessel for positive influence and positive energy. Very hopefully fun and also entertaining as well. But really, it's directed to be of value to you guys, to really give you some insight, some knowledge, some perspective, and just to really reinforce again, not to tell you what is right and what is wrong. It's really just to give you a different angle, uh, again, insight, different a different thinking to stretch your mind a little bit, and again, to be of value to you guys. And hopefully, you could take away something from the discussions, the conversations we have, and apply it to any area of your life and to better yourself. So, with that being, it is Valentine's Day. I thought, why not talk about something in relation to kind of the Valentine spirit? And actually, the subject I've been wanting to talk about a few times on Collective Thursdays, but again, being that it's Valentine's Day, why not talk about the topic and or subject of relationships? Now, I'm not gonna spit some knowledge here on how to maintain a relationship and all that stuff, but what, I'm actually talking about a relationship in its entirety. Not just talking about your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, intimate relationship, significant other, um, relationships in general. Relationships with your family, relationships with your colleagues, relationships with your friends, um, people you're partners with, maybe people you collaborate with, people you encounter. Relationships in its entirety and how it really affects you. And I bring this up because, as most of you guys know, I am on a special journey right now, right? I'm trying to just basically dominate in every area of my life. I'm trying to win. I'm really, I'm on this entrepreneurial journey, and I'm really just trying to create that life that I envision for me and my family. And what I've really started to learn really within the past year, and I say the past year when in reality it's I've known this all my life, but I think I've for some reason, all the things that I'm beginning to learn, all the conversations I share with these amazing people, and all the other stuff that I'm in right now and involved with, it's really put a huge emphasis and a huge focus again on your relationships, having healthy relationships, in fact. And the thing I want to share with you guys is really how, again, relationships plays a huge part in your well-being and your inner peace. Okay, when you think about relationships, just take a second and take about 5 to 10 seconds, real quick, and just really think: how are your relationships right now with everybody? Everybody that's you surround yourself with, everybody that's involved in your life. Is it pretty healthy? Would you say that you have a healthy relationship, companionship with all these people? Or is it, like a 80-20 where you really kind of isolated, you don't get along with various people? Really think about that, because that plays a huge part again with yourself, the way you feed your mind, right? Feeding your environment. And in fact, a book that I just finished called The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David J. Schwartz, he talks about feeding your environment and how if you're not feeding your mind, kind of as if what you feed your body, right? Whatever you feed your body will obviously be a result of how your body will be. Well, it's the same thing with your mind, right? How you feed your mind also translates to your environment, who you surround yourself with. And who you surround yourself with actually plays a huge part with your relationships, right? Because if you have healthy relationships, clearly you're going to be surrounded by great people. Now, I could go on and talk about the law of attraction and how because I'm a huge believer, and I could tell you this right now, it is absolutely 110% real that if you put out good positive energy out there, if you're just a great person, you bring value to you enrich other people's lives, it comes back to you, right? And how can you, truthfully, how can you argue that in that if all you think about is negativity, you're dishonest, you don't have any values, things like that, you're just going to attract the same thing back to you. And that's what I mean when we're trying to feed our mind and feed our environment in relation to our relationships. Is how exactly are your relationships? Are they great? Are they bad? And you know, come to think of it, I actually do believe that having healthy relationships can be actually unrealistic, to be honest. I mean, think about it. I think about the past 24 hours of my day. I've probably spoken to maybe 20 people today in person. That's just in person. Maybe another 15 um, with via social media, text message, email, probably even more than that. And I just went to the gym, had eye contact with a couple people, had conversations with other people. The relationships is everything, right? It's who you talk to, who do you interact with, who you encounter. And again, an example with me is it is a lot of people. And I do believe it is unrealistic to have great relationships with everybody, but I don't think it's impossible to strive to have the best relationships with everybody. So again, being that I'm on this, you know, being on this journey, this special journey of really just trying to be the best version of myself, I am just, I truly feel right now I have a superhuman power of just self awareness, right? Everything that comes, that I come involved with, everything I surround myself with, I'm a sponge right now. I really try to take in, I really try to harness that energy. I really think about what goes on, whether it's a conversation, whether it's something that happens to me. I really look at it, observe it, and kind of dissect it, I guess you could say. And I think to myself, how does that affect me? Or how can I learn from that situation? And it makes you think exactly how you would be in that certain position, that circumstance. For instance, I share a lot of stories and encounters with other amazing individuals who have their own businesses, and they share things with me. And I am fortunate enough to learn from them because they share these with me. And I like to think to myself, okay, if that was me, how could I improve? And what does that say about me? How I feel about myself? What is my relationship with me? Is it honest? Is it dishonest? How does that translate to my relationships with my external, the outside world? So anyway, you know, relationships is just very important. I think, regardless, we're always going to have rocky relationships. We're always going to have, negative energy around us. But I think, at least from my journey, what I'm beginning to learn is the more I surround myself with amazing people, the more I have these healthy relationships, I maintain these amazing relationships with these great people that I want to attract in my lives, it really starts to transition to who I attract and how my mind feeds off that. And eventually, it helps me to become a better person. So it's just really something to think about. Who you associate with, how your relationships are. What really is the dynamic there? What is the issue? I mean, are these toxic people? I mean, really, it's just really something to think about. And I got to tell you, just from my experience right now, having these amazing, healthy relationships has been so enriching to my life, and I know it could be enriching to yours. Now, in regards to an intimate relationship, a spouse, a brother, a spouse, a boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other. What I will tell you is, from my experience, I've been married for 2 years, and I have been very fortunate enough to have a wonderful wife who supports me. And I kind of want to touch on this subject because I see a lot. I see a lot. I observe and see a lot out there where people are struggling to be surrounded by supportive people that they love. Mostly, significant others, but sometimes that could be family, really close friends. And I ask myself, like, man, I wouldn't know how what's that like to feel because I don't have that problem. And again, I'm very fortunate enough to have a very supportive wife. And I gotta say, if you are in that position where you do not have that supportive significant other, someone that supports you, your goals, you don't have, or that boyfriend and girlfriend, or maybe it's your family, that supportive system, or maybe even some close friends that just don't understand what you're going through or what you're trying to do. Truthfully, everybody has a very unique situation, different circumstances, different situations. But I got to tell you, more than likely, you need to leave that environment. Again, you need to leave that environment so you could feed off a positive environment and therefore feed your soul and feed your mind. I'm not trying to say, that's completely up to you to leave those individuals for good, but I do believe you definitely have to think about how you spend your time and how much effort you put into those specific relationships. So again, and you know what? I think what works for me that I gotta say is that with my wife, I've been very fortunate enough that she supports me. She supports everything that I do, and I know that I inspire her and I make her want to become a better person. And there is no question it is the same way around. She inspires me. She makes me want to become a better person. We both uplift each other. We both enrich each other's lives. We both want what's best for both of us and ourselves. And not just in regards to, again, to intimate relationships like that, those are the type of relationships that you should be with, the type of relationships you should surround yourself with. Again, colleagues, friends, people who want good for you, people who motivate you, people who inspire you, people who uplift you, people who give you that positive energy, right? And that's what I'm trying to drive in this context, is to really think about your relationships, all right? So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Everybody, please let me know what you think of these Collective Thursdays. I'm very curious in that, again, these are more solo segments, so it's kind of a transition for me, I gotta admit. But please let me know what you guys think. Shoot me a DM, comment, and I'm very curious to get your feedback. Happy Valentine's Day again. Happy Valentine's Day to my wife, to my 2 older sisters, to my mom, to my beautiful nieces, and to my grandma up in heaven. Rest in peace. Talk to you guys soon.